Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm KG, and as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to talk about flight attendant training, like overall what my experience was like at training, tips that I would give people that are going to training, and then I'm just going to answer like general questions that people give me, ask me about being a flight attendant. I posted it on my Instagram. We're going to answer those questions because I was supposed to do this video weeks ago, but that's fine because we're here now. So, flight attendant training. Well, I work for a major US airline, and I feel like overall flight attendant training is going to be the same. It'll be anywhere from, I've heard 4 weeks to 10 weeks. You're normally going to go wherever that airline's headquarters or training base is, and you're just going to be there. Honestly, if y'all see me looking down, it's because I took little notes so I wouldn't forget stuff. But yeah, training is about anywhere from 4 to 10 weeks, typically unpaid. You might get some kind of like stipend towards like food or something like that, but typically you're not going to get paid to be there. Majority of training, at least in my experience, is heavily safety oriented, because although like when you get on a plane and you're traveling, the flight attendants are there, they're saying hello, they're giving you drinks, they're making your food. The job is really safety oriented. Like the whole job is about safety. So that's what you're going to go over at training. Drills, evacuations, worst case scenario, best case scenario, what to do if this happens, that happens. Like that's what training is. My training for my airline was 6.5 weeks. And overall, I personally don't think training was hard. But I'm also a person that is like, school wasn't hard for me either. The training wasn't hard, but I will say it was very fast paced. Like, you read something tonight, you go to class, talk about it tomorrow. The next day you're reading something else. The day after that you're talking about it. Like, you're not going to stay on one topic more than really like a day and a half, because there's so much material that they cover in training in that short period of time. Well, 6.5 weeks isn't a short period of time, but it's a short period of time for the amount of information that they're teaching you during training. But it's cool overall. I think that I got lucky in training because my airline, we have roommates. A lot of people didn't get along with their roommates in my training, and I feel like that would have made the situation so much worse for me if I didn't get along with my roommate. But I love my roommate, truly. Let's see. Let's see what my roommate is doing. I'm gonna call her and see what she thinks about training. I hope she's not flying right now, because then I just wasted my time. But hold on. Okay, she might be flying. But yeah, so like I think the fact that me and my roommate got along really well was a major bonus in our experience of training. Oh, she's about to take off. Because I'm an only child, so the whole sharing a room, and it's a hotel room, like it's not an apartment, it's not a suite, it's a regular double bed hotel room. So sharing my space like that as an only child, even in my big age, was a lot for me. But thankfully, we got through it. But let's get to the tips, because I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. The first tip that I would say is really not specific to training, but going into training, I would get yourself into the mindset, if you're not already there, of saving your money. Because like I said, you're going to get a stipend. You're not going to get a paycheck. Your bills still have to be paid for that 4 to 10 weeks that you're there. And then most jobs, transitioning into being a flight attendant, you're going to take a pay cut. So if you're not already saving your money, save your money. Because like I said, your bills are going to have to be paid. You're going to have to eat if you want to eat out, do your laundry. If you want to go out, sometimes if you have a day off and enjoy yourself, like none of that is free. So save your money. Plain and simple. Number 2, find a method of studying that works for you. If you got a study by yourself, if you got to study with a group, if you got to take notes, if you want to type on your laptop, whatever works for you, do that. Like personally, at training for me, I had to study either by myself or in small groups. A lot of the people in my class, I had a really large class. We had about 140 people, I think. My section of the class had about 40 people, and a lot of time, like 30 of them would get together and study together. That didn't work for me. It was too loud. It was too many people, too many opinions, a lot going on. So I always had to study by myself, either write my notes by hand or type them onto my computer, and then study with my small group of like 3 to 5 people. But whatever your study method is, find it quick and stick to it. I would also say don't try to go ahead into the material because everything really does connect together. Just follow the timeline that they give you. I didn't write that down, but a lot of people tried to go ahead and I just wouldn't go ahead. Third, I would say take whatever you need to training to make you comfortable. I swear, but I took 5 pieces of luggage to training. I took a duffel bag, I took a carry-on bag, a large roller board, a toiletry bag, a backpack. That might have been it. You'll speak to people about what you should take to training and they'll tell you like, oh, you're going to share a room with someone else, so pack light. You're not going to have time to do a lot of stuff, so you don't need clothes. Listen, you're going to be away from home for 6.5 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks. Take whatever you need. You'll find room for it. You'll find somewhere to put it. And if you don't use it, oh well, but at least you don't leave it home and then wish you had it. Take whatever you want. I'm telling you, some people took appliances, kitchen appliances. There was this girl in my class who made food every day. She had a griddle, she had an espresso machine, she had a crock pot. Like, whatever you need to do it, pack it, take it. That's my biggest tip. Take whatever you want. 4, is this 4? 4. And this is a big one because this hurt a lot of people in my experience. Remember that training is a professional environment. It's going to start to feel like you're just on vacation, like you're hanging out. Like I said, you're in a hotel, there's a pool, there's a bar, restaurant, whatever the case may be. And you're going to get really comfortable with the people that are in your class. You're going to become friends with some of them. But don't forget that this is a job. Don't go getting too turned, saying whatever you want to people, talking to people however you want, because ultimately this is still your job. And they will always remind us that training is an extension of the interview. If you forget that it's a professional environment and you do something crazy, you're going to get sent home. Your job offer is going to get revoked and that's going to be it. I saw it happen. So act like you're at work at all times. And I don't mean like just when you're at the training center or just when you're in class. Even when you're at the hotel, act like you're at work. Number 5, this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Don't lose sight of the goal. Like, focus. I feel like that ties into that. Focus. Like, don't be going out every night. Because a lot of these training facilities are in major cities. They're in Miami, they're in Atlanta, they're in Houston, they're in Denver, they're in LA. So there's gonna be other things for you to do. And I'm not saying don't do anything, because I went out a few times here and there. But don't be going out every night, getting lit, going to bars. Because like I said, training is fast paced. You will fall behind quickly. So don't forget, while you're in these fun cities, don't forget why you're there and just stay focused. I'd also say number 6, find a way to manage your stress, because it's stressful. Like I said, just being there, sharing my space with another person, even though I loved Ketty. Hey Ketty, if you're watching this, was stressful for me. Like, I was just so ready. By the end of training, let me tell y'all, I would cry. I was so ready to get out of that hotel. I was so ready to get out of that city. I was ready to go. So like, find a way to manage your stress, whether you journal, You work out. A lot of people worked out. I should have worked out more, but whether you work out, there's going to be a gym more than likely available to you. Whatever you do to relieve your stress, do that. And I think training will be fine. Like I said, training is not that hard. Don't let people psych you out, because people psyched me out into thinking that it was going to be like the hardest thing I've ever done. It's not that hard, but you have to pay attention, you have to study, and you have to focus. So yeah, those are my tips if you're going into training. And now let's get into the questions that people sent me about being a flight attendant. And before I even answer all the questions, let me start by saying I'm new. I'm 4 months into this, and I don't know everything. I might not know the answers to all these questions. I haven't read through all the questions. That's why I'm saying, because I might not know the answers. Okay, I found the questions. So the first question is, what do I love most about being a flight attendant? And I don't think I know yet. Like I said, I'm new. I'm only 4 months in, but so far, I'm a people person. If y'all are watching this and you know me, you know I'm a people person. If you don't know me, I'm a people person. So I think just all the different types of people that I get to interact with on a daily basis is my favorite part, on top of the obvious that I get to travel to different places that I enjoy, or like honestly, going to places that I wouldn't normally go is my favorite part of the job. Because like, for example, I would not normally, I would probably have never gone to Jackson Hole, Wyoming if it wasn't for this job. But it's a beautiful city, like gorgeous, hiking, hot springs. Like, that's my favorite part, because I would not go to a lot of these US cities that I've gone to if I didn't have this job. So I think that's my favorite part. Do you get breaks or get to sleep during long flights? The answer to that is yes. I haven't worked any long haul flights, but I think it's like if your flight is longer than 8 hours, you get a break. And a lot of people have asked me about this because they've been seeing like the TikToks of the people giving tours of the planes. So the larger wide body aircrafts have beds, like areas in them for us to sleep during our breaks. So yeah, but I haven't worked any flights longer than 8 hours yet, so I don't get those breaks. Have I had to kick anyone off a flight or experience a difficult passenger? No, I've never had to kick anyone off a flight, and honestly, I hope I don't have to. Like, I see a lot of those viral videos of flight attendants getting into it with passengers and having to get passengers removed from the flights, and I see a lot of comments of people being like, oh, it's not that deep, oh, they did too much. I promise you they didn't. A lot of the things that I know now, I would have never known, obviously, without becoming a flight attendant, but everything that they're doing is very, very necessary. But no, I've never had to kick anyone off the plane, and I really hope I don't have to, because that's just adding extra stress to my day. And I have a pretty easy job. Like, as long as everything goes the way it's supposed to go, my job is very easy and enjoyable. And having to kick somebody off of the plane is going to make it hard and unenjoyable real quick. Difficult passengers. I feel like there's difficult people everywhere. Like, so yes, but not any more difficult than when I was a server or worked in retail or worked in banking. Like, not any difficult than any other regular person would be. How do you deal with death or emergency? I feel like that stems from that TikTok as well on the podcast or something, where the guy was talking about people dying on the planes, and they said something about like the person just stays in their seat. I got a lot of text messages about that. I think I was in training when that went viral, and we had just like learned about specific things like that. But like, think about it, y'all. an airplane is 40,000 feet in the air. What do you expect the flight attendants to do with someone's body if, God forbid, they pass away on the aircraft? What else are we supposed to do with it other than wait until we land and then take the necessary steps to do what comes next? Like, so that's how we deal with death. As far as emergency, every emergency has a specific way that you deal with it. Like I said, most of training is spent preparing you for said emergencies. So every emergency is going to have a different. Medical emergencies almost always get handled the same at the beginning. We're always going to ask if there's a doctor, a medical professional on the plane, because most of us are not. I mean, while I did have a few people in my training classes that are registered nurses and stuff like that, we're always going to ask those people if they're available to us to help us, and then follow the necessary steps for whatever we were trained to do. How does it work being on call, or can you just have a set schedule? Okay, so being on reserve, that's what that really is. As a flight attendant, you're on reserve or you're a line holder. And every company has a different layout or setup for reserve. But just to keep it brief, with my company, you're on reserve. When you first start, there's ready reserve, there's airport standby, there's line holders. When you're on ready reserve, you're on call for that day. When you're on airport standby, you sit at the airport on standby for a certain amount of hours in case at the very last minute they need your assistance. And that's the short answer. If y'all want me to like make a video more in depth about like the whole process and like what it's like being a flight attendant on reserve, I can do that. But no, there is not a set schedule. When you're a line holder and your schedule is at least set for that month, and then you have a little more leniency. But like I said, I'll be here all day answering that question. How often do you get paid? I get paid twice a month. I don't know if that is a normal aviation thing. I don't know how often pilots get paid or people at other airlines get paid, but I get paid twice a month, the 1st and the 16th. What determines where you are based? Your airline. Well, my airline determined where I was based. We did get options, but everything in this world is based on seniority. You have seniority within the company, you have seniority within your class. My class got 6 choices of bases. We ranked our choices from first to last, and then based on how many people they needed at each base and what your seniority was, you got your base. I had low seniority, so I got my last choice of my base. I'm based in Cleveland. I don't think I said that throughout this video, but yes, I'm based in Cleveland. I did not want to be, but it was a blessing in disguise. Mask rules. I don't think there's very many mask mandates right now, but that's not something that I really pay attention to be honest. Not that I don't pay attention to it, but if I'm working a flight and the passengers need to wear masks, there's normally something on my work device at the gate, that gate agent, like somebody's going to tell me that because I'm going to have to wear one too. Lately, I haven't worked any flights where people had to wear masks. A few months ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, I did a Mexico turn and they had to wear their masks to and from Mexico. But I think that had just like changed the day before I worked the flight because they had like a rise in COVID cases. But then I went to Mexico like 2 weeks ago and they're wearing masks. So the mask mandate is really The mask mandate is really based on where you're traveling. So if you travel, that's another thing. If you're going to travel, look up the COVID restrictions and the mask mandates for the places that you're going to travel to and be prepared. Don't book your flight, book your hotels, and then get on the airplane and get mad at the flight attendants because they're telling you you have to wear a mask. It's not our rule. It's not even our company's rules. These mandates are based on the places that y'all are traveling. Do you ever come in contact with the pilots? Yeah. I mean, we switch pilots all the time, depending on the aircraft. Like, I think that pilots are trained for specific aircrafts. If you're a pilot, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, when we all board the plane, we tend to board it together. If they want to eat, I normally have to heat up their foods and things like that. But all the pilots I've worked with are typically really nice. I haven't had any like bad experiences with pilots. Have I met any famous people? Here's the thing. I'll meet celebrities or famous people, but I won't know that they're celebrities. Like, I've had a few Hall of Fame football players on my flights. I had a Hall of Fame baseball player on my flight. But I didn't know that these people were that until somebody else told me. Like, a gate agent will tell me, or another passenger, or a pilot. Like, somebody will tell me who these people were. So I've never had a celebrity that I was a fan of, like, that I knew who they were on my flight. But I did see on one of our Facebook groups, the new hires that are in training right now were doing their training flights, and they had Tiana Taylor and Junie on their flight. And I was jealous about that. I love Tiana. And some of my classmates have had celebrities on their flights. Like, I'm not going to say who because that's their business. I'm only saying Tiana Taylor because she took a picture and knew that they were going to post that picture. But the other people, you know, they probably see their business. But like, my classmates have had people that I'm like actually big fans of on their flights. Favorite travel. I haven't done very much international flying, but I think my favorite place so far is Vancouver, Canada. I really, really like the hotel that we stay at in Vancouver. That's really why it's my favorite. Packing tips. I was thinking about doing like a whole video on like packing tips, but if I could give one tip, I would say packing cubes. Packing cubes have saved my life. And meal prep. I'm a horrible meal prepper. I just be throwing stuff in my lunchbox. And I typically don't meal prep for more than one day, even if I have a 2-day trip, a 3-day trip, a 4-day trip. For the simple fact that sometimes the hotels don't have refrigerators, and sometimes they don't have microwaves. Like, there's no way for me to freeze my ice packs. There's no way for me to keep my food cold. So I typically just make enough food to take for the first night of my trip, and then after that, I just spend all my money. Okay, that's all the questions, because a lot of the rest of these questions are just different ways to ask the stuff that I already answered. But I'm glad I finally got this video filmed. I was supposed to film this weeks ago, and I was just worried about the background and the quality, and I was just making excuses, but I finally got it done. So I'm happy. I have been vlogging my trips, but I wanted to get this video up first. So once I get my channel up and running, I'm gonna edit this today or tomorrow, upload this video, then I'll have my trips that I have worked updated, and we're gonna get this flight attendant channel up and running. I'm proud. I'm really happy that I'm done this video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, welcome to the life of KG. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of the things, and I will see you in my next video.